Welcome to Day 18. 3 reasons that can change your life. For many of my students, waking up in the mornings is not easy. They already wake up early, and when I tell them I want them to wake up even earlier, they look at me like I should be wearing a black mask and working in a medieval dungeon. Like I'm torturing them or something. But I want you to know, I used to also hate the mornings. I do all the things most people typically do in the morning. I'd wake up as late as possible. I'd rush. I'd check email. I'd read the news. All things that I now know are not good. Then I hired a coach, which is similar to what you're doing now. And he told me to start waking up earlier. I thought he was crazy, but I tried it. And now I am sold. The mornings are the best part of my day. I have made a complete transformation. I wake up easily, I'm productive, and I feel great for the rest of the day because I had such a super morning. Okay, let's talk about 3 reasons why the mornings are so super. Reason 1, no distractions. When your family starts to wake up and when you arrive at the office, suddenly you're not in control of your time. People call you and text you and they want things from you. They expect you to respond and to do things for them. But not in the early morning. In the early morning, when most people are still asleep, no one is calling and no one expects anything from you because they're asleep and they think you're asleep. So this is the time, the only time of the day that you own 100%. Reason number 2, willpower. Willpower is basically your ability to say yes to the things that are difficult and no to the things which are bad for you. And every day we wake up with a certain amount of this willpower. And by the end of the day, most of us have spent it. It's gone. That's why it's easier to eat a healthy breakfast, but hard to say no to chips and cake in the evening. So spend your willpower wisely in the morning while your tank is still full, and spend it on doing some SDIs. Reason 3, focus. As soon as you adjust to your new time, you'll find that your mind is more focused in the morning. Lots of morning people, successful people, they all say, I've read this, they've told me, it's the same with me. There's just something about the morning that when your brain it's fresher. It just works better. It might take some getting used to, but eventually this is what happens. Here's a really cool idea. Pay yourself first. In the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, one of the ways the main character becomes rich, becomes the richest man, is by paying himself first. That is, he puts money into his savings before he pays his rent or bills, or before he pays anyone else, he pays himself. And you can do the same with your time. Little mistake there. Identify your priority in life and do that first thing in the day before anything else. And my assumption is, because you're bought this program, is that right now is English. Okay, and finally, my students. Personal story from my years of teaching. So in my years of teaching, I've experimented with designing many different schedules for my students. Sometimes we'd schedule their English for before lunch and sometimes after, sometimes immediately when they get home, or sometimes immediately before they leave the office. And the success rate for all these different schedules was about the same. Sometimes they do it, but other times they were too busy or tired. But when we started early mornings, suddenly their success rate increased to almost always. And that's the power of the mornings. What you plan for in the early morning, another mistake, what you plan for in the early morning gets done. What you plan to do in the early morning gets done. Okay, I hope I have sold you on at least trying for 28 days early morning English. Okie dokie. Talk to you tomorrow.